Y'all about to lose your job. Get this dance.
I just got fired. Well, that sucks. I do work like 5 jobs though, so I guess we can scratch that one right off.
You know, I don't know if this is happening to you guys, but I've been seeing an influx of people on TikTok losing their jobs over what they post. Yeah. Anywhere from teachers, nurses, customer service reps, delivery drivers, you name it.
Everybody.
And as soon as I see these videos, as soon as I see them, I can spot the ones that are going to result in a firing or termination.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. And some of them don't even have like their job's name or their badge. It's just the content itself and the way that it's represented. If they're talking about work or anything to do with work whatsoever, a coworker, you can tell that person's going to get fired and there's going to be a follow-up video. Well, y'all got fired. If you need your job. Now, if you don't need your job, you can just keep on scrolling.
Yep.
This video is not for you. Keep work out of it. Don't ever put your livelihood in the hands of a post or a like or a view or a follower. Okay? Because at the end of the day, those people not going to come and pay your rent next month.
Nope.
So keep that intact. Keep posting. That's your little side gig. But no, y'all need to, like, you know, come on now.
Absolutely. The amount of people that are getting fired, or at least coming onto TikTok, it just feels like a lot of them. You see a video that they post and immediately in the back of your head, I understand common sense isn't common for a lot of people, and a lot of people do a lot of crazy things that a normal person wouldn't do. I guess somebody that isn't consumed by social media wouldn't do. Some of them are violating HIPAA laws. Some of them are in the workplace with their badge showing, talking crap. Some of them don't even have their badge like she was mentioning, and they're talking crap about their job. And then eventually you see where they work at. It's a whole deal, but people have gotten so comfortable with social media that they want to share every single aspect of their life. You can share things outside your workplace. There are handbooks, manuals, if you want to call them that, contracts that are signed. There's a social media section in the things that you sign that at least you should be reading if you're gonna be dibbling and dabbling in the TikTok. Social media in general, but specifically TikTok. When it comes to paying your bills, having a roof over your head, please be careful of what you put out there. Not once have I ever thought, let me film at a job site. That's just strange, at least to me, especially if I've signed a contract. These things honestly are not surprising, but they sure are disappointing. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar because I wasn't either. There was a song by... I can't remember the artist, but it's called Brokey. I could look it up, but you know what? It's called Brokey. A lot of people were on there, from nurses to delivery drivers. Everybody she mentioned was on there singing that song, and a lot of people were getting fired. Some jobs, I'm not sure what some jobs call it, so I'm just gonna call it something basic off the top of my dome. Some jobs have a social media person that goes and vets people, and all these people that say, oh, she's a hater, somebody got me fired because of a TikTok video, that was their job. Separate your work from your social life. Everybody wants a work-life balance, but if you're intertwine the two and post things for the public to see, you're gonna get yourself caught up in things that you don't want, and that is one of them is termination.
But I just got fired because of that video of Big Lotto's challenge. Yay, I'm glad I put 6 years in a company that would fire me in literally a day of posting one video that harms nobody, that everybody was actually literally rooting for and happy about, but whatever, smart decision, smart move, you know? And then they put me on, it's called like an EFR list or something. Basically, I could never get rehired again. They will never rehire me again. Okay, thanks. 16 to 22, thanks. All the Should I do with things? Thanks.
I've even seen people who aren't even talking about the job that they work at. However, they're still wearing the uniform. They still have their name tag, and they have on the, what is it, the left corner, they have the location. And it's not that hard to find you. And if somebody really wanted to call on your job and say, hey, you have somebody at your job that makes TikToks about so, it's not that hard to find 90% of y'all, because that's just how open you are. And don't get me started on the people that get on live. The call center people are going live on TikTok. I see them all the time. Mind you, I'm not even on TikTok that much, but when I am, there's at least 5 people, call center workers, on live, and they try to mute the customer's information at times. Sometimes it works, sometimes it backfires, and then you just get the customer's name. Sometimes you get the customer's number. It's a whole mess. I understand that people are interested in content creation, but there is a time and there definitely is a place. And then some people are surprised because they got fired. Bro, you're sharing every and anything. People in the medical field, that one really boggles my mind. You can do the skits. The skits, at least to me, look fine because you're not wearing your uniform badge, you're not in the facility. But when you have customers' information at the back of the computer, like I can't zoom in, I'm not that nosy. I don't care. But you know who does? People that have a lot of time on their hands. And they will call on your job and snitch on you, as they should, because what are you doing? Y'all have gotten way too comfortable on these social media apps. Like, digital footprint is not a thing.
So I have a question for y'all. Why on earth do you feel it's okay to go on live while you're on the clock? Like, I've seen so many people this week get fired because they were on the clock on live taking calls from customers. And some of them were shocked about it. And all I could think of is these people that you're talking to on live are not your friends. They're complete strangers who want the opportunity that you had, who's miserable as hell, who doesn't want to see people get ahead. Like, what provokes y'all to do that? It's crazy to me. I'm trying to understand that why. And I still see people going on live while they're on the clock.
Y'all know I'm always on here making like funny TikToks. When I be like on breakout work and stuff, I be making TikToks. So the TikToks that I made just got me fired. They just fired mine. So y'all be careful with posting TikToks, even if it's not your voice, even if you're not saying where you work at. You being in uniform and making certain TikToks with certain captions or anything can cause you to get fired from your job at a clinic.
I got fired from working at my home club as soon as I was becoming quote unquote TikTok famous. As you guys know, I would do lives at work and I would get ready and I would respect the privacy of every single girl and make sure none of them got on my lives. Management told me on 2 occasions to not go on live. I respected that. Girls were complaining. It was fine. And then one day, double with my friend. This day, I didn't double with my friend on stage. I go on stage. I have my phone propped up on my bag on the stage. And once I'm done, management tells me to come downstairs. Management is accusing me of recording a TikTok video or whatever. And I'm super adamant at that point that I no longer do that. They told me not to. I don't. I even told them, like, hey, let's go through my phone. Let's go through my camera roll because you're accusing me of something that I haven't done. I go through my camera roll and there's nothing, absolutely nothing other than nature, snowboarding, and workout videos. But by that point, the decision was already made because of quote unquote the perception I gave just by having my phone on me.
Once again, rules are rules. The warning that you got, the 2 warnings that you got, should have been a sign, but you kept going.
Not y'all done fired me over TikTok. I didn't wear my badge at work. I didn't tell what agency I worked for.
There you go.
So I know nobody on TikTok did the shit at all because I also worked through another company to work for where I was. So I know it wasn't y'all. So that mean one of you bald-headed at the agency that I worked for
Girl.
saw my video and went and told somebody. And it could have been the supervisor.
Probably your mouth.
And all you had to do was say something to me. But you didn't do that, did you? You told all the other managers, all the I done did for y'all. All the days I ain't never take no lunch break for y'all. When my supervisor died, y'all treated me like management. All them girls that done cussed me out. You can't get no help as is. So y'all finna really be looking stupid and crazy.
First of all, go wash your mouth with soap. Do y'all remember when I said digital footprint, yada, yada, yada? Do you think somebody else is going to want to hire her? Probably so. But if they were to come across this video, I'm sure they would want to fire you. Because you're talking all that smack. Accountability is a drug that a lot of people don't want to take. And a lot of people have to start taking them. If you do something wrong, you get called out for it, whether it was a hater or whether it wasn't your TikTok people, but it was somebody at your work, whoever it was, take accountability for your actions. And I promise you, life will become so much better. I understand I was once the anti-accountability person, but now I take accountability for my actions. It's a voice. It's a hard pill. That's what it does. That right there. It scratches your throat a little bit, but accountability will take you a long way in life. And I'm sure there's going to be more people that aren't taking freaking accountability because that's just how most people are. It's a bad habit that you just need to train yourself to stop exercising.
So these nurses were fired over a TikTok where they talked about their ex. And they happen to stem from Emory University Hospital of Midtown. That's in Atlanta, if you didn't know. What compelled me to make this video is after watching the TikTok, I had to ask myself, has cancel culture really gone too far? Instead of me talking about how bad this TikTok really is, I'm just gonna show it to you guys right here.
My ick is when you come in for your induction talking about, can I take a shower and eat? What? My ick is when you ask me how much the baby weighs and it's still in your hands. Dad comes outside and asks for a paternity test right outside the room door.
Saying you don't want any pain medicine, no epidural, but you are at an 8 out of 10 pain with just a Cervidil, and you're still closed, fingertip.
When we've already told you to push a call light, but every 5 minutes, your family member coming at the front desk asking for something else. Excuse me, can I have a blanket? Another ick, when you're going room to room between one baby mama and your other baby mama. Oh, no. Ick. Say that. It's the unlimited trips to the nurse's station for me.
So as you can see, these nurses were sharing these icks, and these icks had people upset. They were calling for them to lose their job and be fired. And as a result, Emory came out with this statement. So they were fired just for these TikToks of coming out with these icks. Now don't get me wrong, were they in the wrong? Yes. Did they deserve to lose their job? Yes. I don't think so. HIPAA laws do exist, but they never disclosed a patient's names, so they really didn't violate any HIPAA laws. Nope. It was more so, like they said in the Emory statement, of them being unprofessional and disrespectful to maternity patients. This is where I felt like either you give them a week or 2 week suspension with some sensitivity training and monitoring of their behavior, but taking their livelihood out of a TikTok. We all have pet peeves when they come to work. Yes, theirs was insensitive and these people are in some of the toughest positions of their life, but it's like, where is this line really going to be drawn to where people are losing their livelihood over one TikTok or one mistake? And I understand that there's different levels of severity to these being fired over a tweet or a TikTok or what you did or one mistake, but I don't think this is one of those severities that deems being fired over one mistake. And I get it, they need to be disciplined, and that's why whether it's a week 3-week suspension, 2-week suspension, or whatever. But do I think these women deserve to lose their livelihood, what they worked years for to gain? I don't think so. Especially now that this is in the news, everyone's talking about it. They may not be able to get into the field that they got a degree in, or they're going to become a traveling nurse. Either way, their life has been very affected from this. Now, I hope any of their patients never saw it, and if I was a patient of them, I would feel a type of way, but I think that needs to be a learning mistake, not a lose your job mistake. 1 week, 2-week suspension, have them attend some sensitivity training classes while monitoring their behavior. And if anything else derives from it, then fire them. But them being fired for just talking about their icks and what bothers them at work, I think is a bit much. Y'all let me know in the comment section whether you agree or disagree with me.
I was holding back from interrupting, but clearly in the video, they were being extremely not only unprofessional, but insensitive. That is maternity. Women that are vulnerable, and y'all are creating icks for social media. You can have pet peeves and share them amongst yourselves, but to put a camera for everybody to see, somebody's gonna find out where you... Imagine you had the roughest birth, and those women were your nurses. And then the audacity to say that, oh my days, bro. The audacity to say that these women work so hard to get their degrees and blah, blah, blah. You can say that because clearly them working that hard didn't mean anything to them because they created this video. And out of all of those women, you're telling me not one of them said, you know what? Maybe we should just keep this in the drafts forever. Maybe we shouldn't post this. There has to be something in the back of your head that tells you that you're tripping out. You're losing it. You're losing your mind. You're about to lose your job. If I would have seen my nurse and I had the worst freaking delivery of my life, talking about some icks, bro, I would call that facility up and say, no wonder I was being treated that way. No hate, no shade to nurses, but those are some of the meanest women I have ever come across. Even when I thought my life was over, nurses are horrible. Not all, but oh my goodness, is it a bunch of y'all. And then you're saying, oh, they should just be given a week or two and then they should be able to come back. Who wants a nurse like that? Who wants a medical professional in any sense taking care of you, knowing in the back of your head that they created a TikTok about icks? And now you're gonna be self-conscious. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. The least thing you want to have, I am tripping out. When you're giving birth, all you want is comfort, love, care, which I don't want to say it's rare because there's been so many cases where there just hasn't been much care when it comes to childbirth and women that are moms, that are nurses, that should understand and care for women that are first-time moms or second-time moms or third-time mom. I don't care, 10th time mom. But instead, they tear a woman down when she's already low in terms of energy, emotion, physically. Carrying a child, giving birth, you're tired, you're exhausted, and then you look up and a nurse is rolling their eyes or giving you attitude for what? So you can't just sit up here and say, oh, I can relate. No, you can't. You'll never relate, ever. So what are you talking about? They made a great example out of those nurses, and I hope a lot of nurses learn from that. Keep your comments to yourself, especially in the medical field, regardless of if it's maternity. People are there vulnerable and at their lowest point, trusting that you'll care for them. But instead, you are just, you know what? I'm not about to crash out over this.
So, I got fired. Yeah, my big 6-figure remote tech job. Yeah, they canned me. And you guessed it, it was because of a TikTok. Yeah, last month I took a very quick video. I had forgotten to put my mug underneath my Keurig one morning, and so my coffee spilled all over the place. And I took a quick little snippet of the coffee everywhere. I turned it around on my face. I said, ah. I hit stop recording and I uploaded, and I did not use my big giant brain to think about the fact that in the background of that video, you could hear my chief product officer talking, because I was in a meeting. Yep. It was about 4:30 in the morning. I was in my weekly team stand-up meeting. They were having a conversation that had absolutely nothing to do with me, so I went off camera, took the 20-second video, and hit upload, and I did not think anything of it until the next day when I got called into a meeting with HR and my chief product officer, and they said, hey, somebody sent us this video, and we are immediately dismissing you from the company for gross negligence. And I said, it was great working with all of you, and I hung up the call and I said, this is gonna be perfect for my memoir.
Girl.
Yeah. Honestly, do I think that I should have been fired? I mean, nobody ever thinks that they should be fired, but honestly, no. They weren't really talking about anything super confidential. You could honestly barely hear them in the background. But alas, they found it to be a fireable offense, and so they canned me, and I have nothing left to do except for accept it. It was an oversight. I would 100% accept that. They canned me. I can't do anything about it. So of course, I thought, well, what would any college dropout who got fired from their job do next? I'm going to start my own company.
After she took accountability, what more can I say? I just said not so long ago, accountability is a hard pill to swallow, and she took accountability for her actions. She was negligent. And I understand why they fired you, because if you could do it with such a little thing like this, who knows what you could possibly do in the future unintentionally. Just plain old carelessness. Most things in life come with rules, and when you try to bend them or even break them, you will get cut off. So please be careful, be mindful of the things that you post on the internet, especially if your job is your livelihood and you don't have any backup. Just be very, very careful.